and scores! Great move by Davies. Well, this would be something. Oh! Ausgezeichnet! Brian White chips. It'll make it!
Welcome back to another episode of Caps Cast presented by Whitecaps Fan TV. I am with my lovely co-host, reigning from Manchester, England. Damien, we're back for episode 3.
Yeah, here we are.
You just can't get rid of us.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed doing the first 2 episodes. It's been a bit of an eye-opener into the world of podcasting and things. Just getting used to a few different things, but I think we're slowly getting there.
I think we're like getting a bit better at this. We're learning, like you said. Once again, I just want to thank everyone that's reached out with feedback and been very supportive to us. We've had a couple of different people reach out through our different social medias. Just saying to like keep it up, things like that. And I think a lot of it had to do with what we did this weekend. That was the first ever Whitecaps Fan TV street guerrilla style interviews.
Oh yeah.
We hung out outside BC Place on the Terry Fox Plaza. But what I didn't realize was that they had that entire warm-up party. So that kind of threw a wrench in things.
They had mini golf. They had all sorts of games there, a bit of cornhole. It was.
I thought it would all be gone at the end of the game. So I was like, okay, like I'll have a little bit of space to kind of like navigate how we want to do this fan TV. And that was still all set up, which caused a huge bottleneck leaving the game. But I want to thank the 5 groups of people that agreed to have interviews with me for about 35 to 40 seconds. Giving opinions, things like that, giving these genuine reactions, which is what we wanted. We had a couple people be like, oh, can I swear on this? And I was like, absolutely. Like, we encourage it.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we need to touch on. Just when we're doing the interviews after the game, we honestly want your unfiltered response. Like, if we have been poor, you tell us that we have been poor. Tell us that the Caps have been poor in whatever way you feel fit. And we will cut it out and edit it if we need to, if it gets a bit too much. But aside from that, we are here for it. We are here to listen. But also on the days that we have been world class and Brian White bangs a hat trick, we need to hear more about that.
We need to hear that opinion as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to get better at that. I'm going to come out and just say it that like, I was super uncomfortable doing that. That's something like new for me, to just like randomly approach people in the street with a microphone and like cameras and be like, hey, what are your thoughts?
It's nerve-wracking for sure.
Super nerve-wracking. And there was I guess because of that, like, party on the plaza, it led to a lot of congestion and a lot of people there, which I think really like amplified my like nerves. But everyone who participated was a great sport. They all were like saying, I hope this helps with whatever you're trying to do. And I think next time we're going to grab more people. We've posted all of our clips to TikTok, Instagram. So that's more to come. I'm hoping we can maybe get some stickers made up and we can start handing those out. And we'll just have like a little bit of like free merch to give around as we progress through this.
Yeah, we are like you keep saying, Matt. We are very, very new at this. So as we grow, so will the podcast. So will
and we're learning
interviews and everything. Yeah,
and but yeah. So speaking of what we did on Saturday, the Whitecaps finally pick up 3 points in what feels like has been forever.
It really does. I think we get a little bit carried away with it, thinking that it's been a long time, because the first 2 episodes of the podcast, it's been a little bit more negative because of like 2 losses back to back for the podcast sort of thing. So like being able to come in here all happy, like joyous over the result is a very, very nice feeling for sure.
And let's just stop right there because it did not feel joyous at first.
No.
12 minutes in, we're down 2-0. And we both looked at each other and went, well, maybe we're bad luck.
Yeah,
is that it?
It was we started questioning, do we just cancel the podcast because I don't think they're going to win while we're doing it. So,
but that being said, we pulled it off.
Yeah,
down 2 goals to end up winning 4-3. No,
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, 4-3.
And I do think the 2 goals came very quick. Maybe there were a bit of nerves from the Whitecaps going into the game, knowing that they were on a bit of a losing streak. And then, yeah, obviously we didn't start the game very well. The first goal for them, I don't know. It was a big ball into the box. Takaoka gets a good set of hands on it to punch it away. Gets it to the edge of the 18-yard box. My only issue with that goal is after the ball is out to the edge of the 18-yard box, it was far too easy for St. Louis to get down the right-hand side. I think
it was a poor clearance. I think Utvik kind of tried to clear it out, and it went straight to St. Louis, and then the shot comes in through traffic. It looks like it takes a deflection.
Oh, big deflection off Levante Johnson there. Not much he could do about that, really.
No, and we're looking at it being like, oh, this is a soft goal. But in reality, that is very tough to make.
Yeah.
It's very easy to sit here and be like, oh, you should be stopping that. You should be stopping this. But when it comes in with good pace.
Through a lot of people as well, like you said, the box was crowded. Takaoka probably didn't see it until the last minute there. He gets close to it, just not close enough. It was, just a bit unfortunate, really.
And then the penalty. Because that was the second goal, right? Javane Brown doesn't really close his man down when the ball gets crossed over. And then he has this desperation tackle or block that he tries to, he commits to. And hits his hand. It hits his arm. It looks like more of his midriff area.
I honestly thought when I saw it at first, it was a blatant handball. Upon seeing the replays, I honestly feel, like you said, it almost hits his midsection and then bounces onto his arm. I don't know, over the last a couple of years with the development of the handball rule and how they keep changing it every year.
Feels like they're changing it every minute.
Yeah, I honestly thought though that if it bounced off your body onto your arm, then it wasn't handball.
Well, then there's the whole talk of, is it in a natural position, unnatural position? And what's unnatural about sliding, trying to block a shot with your arms obviously, not by your side. But 12 minutes in, we're 2-0 down, and I'm sat there thinking uh-oh. We kind of cursed it because we led to it last week that St. Louis had not won on the road. And I was like, that's it. This is it.
This should be a guaranteed 3 points.
This is 3 points. And 12 minutes, we're sitting there 2-0 down. Yeah. But then we have Mr. Brian White.
Well, even before the goal there, Matt, before we jump onto that, there was it must have been maybe about the, I don't know, maybe 15, 20-minute mark. There was a point there where Ryan Gold gets forward with the ball, slips it wide to Levante Johnson, and the keeper makes a very big save. He got down well to the bottom corner to save it. It was a good save. Again, I was in the stadium on the day, I was a little bit harsh on Johnson, thinking, you know what, he should have done better there, he should have put it away. Again, after watching the replay, a very big save. I just want to ask your opinion.
That actually leads me to a question: is do we think Johnson should go out on loan? Is he?
That's what I was going to ask.
Is he going to get to the standard we need him to be at as we go into this run-in of games to close out this. I guess it's not really a run-in now. We're in July. But as we go to close out these games, is he going to be at the caliber we need him to be? Or is this something that like we can look at to maybe loan him out, get playing minutes, and then maybe come back to this?
I think so. One of my big things like going into the game on Saturday was the actual lineup itself. Well, not even the lineup, just the bench. Like the bench on Saturday night showed that we have almost zero depth in strength. We have Kubas, who is obviously still with Paraguay at the Copa there. We have Ahmed, who is also with Canada at the Copa. But the fact that, I've got the bench written down here. So on the bench, we had Blackman, Veselinovic, and Fafa. They are the three players who are actual, on the edge of the first team, right? Rotating in and out of the first team.
I would say Veselinovic and Blackman are first team regulars.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, right? So you've got your three players there who are actually in and out of the first team on a consistent basis, let's say. Then the rest of the subs, you had Bovalina, Chateau, and Halbuni. Every single one of those have come up from the Whitecaps too.
There was a lot of hype around, is it Halbuni? I don't know how to pronounce
when he first got signed, right?
There was a lot of social media hype around him. And I don't think he's played a minute this year. And if he has, it has been a late game substitution, maybe.
I think he played in the Canadian Cup.
Okay, so he's playing at least in the domestic cup. But I don't think he's played that many minutes in the MLS.
No. We need actual squad players who are actually able to come into the squad and make an impact.
And that's harsh to say, too, that we need squad players, because our first choice squad, I feel, is very strong. Yeah, but we just don't have those rotational players that can come in. I'm also curious if Vanny's sitting there looking kind of how we did and went, okay, St. Louis is on the road. And then also, I actually read this morning, St. Louis sacked their manager.
Yeah,
this is a couple hours ago.
Yeah, Bradley Carnell, right?
Sacked him. So I'm wondering if Vanny's sitting there going, okay, we've got, what is it? I'm just looking here. We've got 5 games in 17 days. That's the Whitecap schedule, is 5 games, looking forward, not inclusive of the St. Louis game, is 5 games in 17 days. Is he sitting there being St. Louis isn't sending their strongest, they're not performing? Do we kind of send in not the B squad, but the A- squad? A solid A-, B+?
I understand what you're saying there, but I also think it was just, who else can he send in? Because looking at the subs bench there, out of the whole subs bench, the 3 players that you're going to sub on in that game, 2 of them are going to be defenders in Blackman and Veselinovic, and the other one's Fafa, who I understand why Fafa was dropped, because the game prior, Fafa had an absolute nightmare. Dreadful. So dropping him was a good call, and maybe it did him the world of good, because in the end he does get the goal.
Yeah,
so
he does score at the end.
Yeah, but anyway, with all that, back to the game.
Well, I mean, also one more thing to touch on too. Then is our injury problem right now of Krelik, Adekube. They're all not fit to play. And I think we've said this previous, is that this is a very difficult time to navigate with international duty. I know we only have Kubas, who is probably our most impactful player to be on international duty. Really is. But it's not just the Whitecaps. A lot of teams are going through this, and this is something we should be capitalizing on, and it just feels like we're not.
Yeah.
But
like you said, the fact that we've only got 2 players away, where some teams might have 7 or 8 of their first team gone, we should be the team to watch almost at this time.
And especially with how strong we started, it's not like we've had a lot of exits. It's more just our form.
Yeah. I agree.
That being said, Mr. Brian White,
Brian White
had not scored in some time. And I think we said this before too, that as an out-and-out striker, if you're not producing, it's a huge confidence thing.
Your confidence is goals. Goals are confidence.
Exactly. Goals are confidence, and confidence is goals.
That's it, right?
He scores his... I mean, the first goal is a confidence boost right there. But I think everyone is wanting to talk about that second goal.
Well, just before we jump on that, Matt, the second goal, the first goal as well, even like the shot from Levante Johnson earlier on in the game there, where Gold got the ball and lay it off, both of these attempts, both of these chances were basically the result of a long ball over the top.
Yeah.
Which, again, without Puskas in the midfield there to help usher the ball around, that centre midfield pairing of Berhalter and Vitae isn't as good as Puskas on his own.
Well, that's what you've always said, is that Puskas does the job of both of those players.
Which then, when they're on the pitch with him, it frees them up to actually do what they want to do. And like, they're not then trying to get back, they're not trying to do the defensive like duties, because they know that they've got somebody behind them who is good enough just to pick everything up and just put the tackles in, block it, get in the way of things. You know what I mean?
Just kind of be that like midfield maestro almost, and kind of orchestrate it and organize it versus long balls over the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, that second goal, I think that's been the talk of basically all of our post-game interviews, by the way, on Saturday. We're all about the Brian White goal. People were telling me that that's a Puskas goal. Like, just give the award now.
Yeah, unbelievable. Honest to God, unbelievable. Like, the fact that he actually looks where the ball is over his shoulder to see if he's going to be able to connect with it with the back heel, it wasn't just he was running and the ball has hit his heel. He actually looked where that ball was and flicked that ball into the net. That is like...
So I've watched it. I've watched it probably like 30 times now, trying to figure out what the hell happened. Because, like you said, at first glance, I was like, this motherfucker, the ball just hit him. It bounced off him. It somehow took the craziest chip and beats the keeper. And each time I've watched it, I'm like, oh, he meant to do that. Oh, he looked back and was kind of tracking the ball. Like, oh, he purposely kicked out at that.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't just him in stride.
No, the more you watch it, the more it looks 100% deliberate. He knew what he was doing. Maybe, the only thing I will say, maybe he didn't realize or didn't think it was going to go in. Maybe he was just thinking, oh, if I can like flick this up, get it in front of myself, it puts me in a better position.
Kind of like a rainbow flick.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
Like kind of just like chip it up over, control it down, but then now we're talking like what is like the second coming of Neymar on the pitch right now. I think like he just almost clipped it a little too hard for what maybe the intention was, and somehow it chips the keeper. Perfection. And then he runs to the corner, shrugging. And that's where I thought, that is when you celebrate like that, I was like, oh my God, like this was totally an accident.
Still, it doesn't matter though. Like a lot of the best goals are like accidents, right? Like
exactly.
And hope for the best, and
I think that like, does this now qualify for a Puskas like nomination?
I think it has to. Like, I really do, because like, there's no other goal like it, realistically. He was outside of the box. We had a few last year. Well, maybe not last year, sorry. Like, the year when Mkhitaryan scored one. for United or
The
whatever it was called,
Scorpion, right?
the Scorpion. But in the same year, then Giroud, I think it was identical. Yeah, like we had a couple of them. They both got like nominated for it. So yeah, I don't see why Brian White would have been nominated for the Puskas here. It should be definitely sent to the people so the people can vote.
And like we had in our reactions, we had a group of people being like, "That's a Puskas. That's it. Mail it in right now." And at full, if you watch that at full speed, it is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
And I think kind of like what we're saying is that like he just needed some confidence back. He needed his swagger back.
Yeah.
Third goal is just he heads it in. From
your boy,
sorry?
From your boy Cross, one of your favourite players on the Caps, Ryan Raposo. Swings a really nice ball in.
Who I've been advocating to play that wingback position for so long.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
And I feel like he's come in, he does a great job at it. And like I said, he is constantly putting service in. He's tracking back on running back.
Yeah.
He's doing what we need of a wingback position. And I feel like he should be that starting kind of right wingback.
Especially against teams that are going to come at us and come down the wings and attack, because honestly, like I do like Ali Ahmed. I think he's a great player. I think he's very good at getting forward. I think his defensive capabilities are lacking a little bit, but he's only young as well. And that's where Raposo, I think, is a little bit ahead of him, because he gets back, he gets forward. He might not be as good as him going forward and have the technical like dribbling ability, but he's still very good at getting forward.
And that's fine. Like Raposo's doing exactly what you want of a wing back, but when you take a winger and you're like, hey, you're also going to be playing not just a winger, you're now expected to play as a right wing back. It doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. And I'm not saying Ali Ahmed is not gifted as a winger or have the ability to play as a winger. I'm just saying he doesn't have the ability to play as a wing back. Because where he lacks is going to be on the defensive side, and where you're most vulnerable when you play with three at the back with these wing backs is your defensive side.
Yeah.
So having that liability, it hinders. And I think when Raposo comes in, he kind of just owns that role.
Yeah. And honestly, man, maybe when Kubas comes back and you have that protection in front of the back four, where he can almost, when you've got Javine Brown on and Kubas on the pitch, Kubas can almost drop back into like almost a centre-back position, which allows Javine Brown to push out to that right-hand side.
And I think that's what the Caps were doing early in the season, is you would see Kubas kind of drop back, and whoever was on that right-hand side, and it was always Laborda. Laborda would always be on that right-hand side. He would kind of move to that right back spot while Kubas kind of filled that void.
Yeah.
And it let Ali Ahmed not track back. Like, he didn't need to track back as much.
Yeah, it negated the need for him to be there, because Laborda was able to fill that position. So maybe that's why we didn't realise at the beginning of the season here that Ali Ahmed's tracking back wasn't all there, because he didn't really need to do the job.
Yeah.
And that we're like a little bit exposed, we're seeing it a bit more.
And we're gonna have these kind of learnings through the season. Yeah. And it's good that we're having them now and not in September, October.
Yeah.
First round of the playoffs. Because right now we're sitting in 9th with 2 games in hand. Or 8th, 2 games in hand.
Yeah, we needed the win. Like, the win was the most crucial thing, regardless of how we got it. It was essential that we beat St. Louis just to get back on track.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 games in hand over pretty much the top half of the table. And I saw like Vanny come out and say, oh, with these 2 games in hand, this could put us into 4th, which is true, seeing as we're only 3 points back of Colorado. But
yeah, I'm just looking at the league table there as well. Yeah, that's quite something. And like, look at I tell you what though, Matt, to say we had such a good defense at the beginning of the season there and weren't conceding many goals, we have conceded a few here. We're up to 27 goals conceded across the league so far.
Yeah.
Because
we've had bad losses.
Yeah.
Like 3-0 to LA, 3-2 to New England.
Even conceding the 3 goals against St. Louis there on Saturday, that's like still a lot of goals to be. I know we won the game, but it's still a lot of goals to be conceding in a game.
Yeah.
There's not many games.
The last goal that St. Louis scored kind of in the garbage time, 91st, 92nd minute. You can't be conceding then.
No, I'm just thankful that the Whitecaps almost went and pursued that 4th goal, because had we just sat back and then conceded, it would have been such a sour taste in the mouth to concede in the 93rd minute like an equaliser. It was bad enough conceding a consolation goal, but had Fafa not scored that 4th goal,
because he scores in the 89th minute, kind of in the late 89th, almost 90th minute. And then St. Louis score in the 92nd to bring it to 4-3. And I think, as Whitecaps fans, we've seen us concede late to ruin results. We've been there. We've seen it. We've felt it. And I think you're right. If we didn't pursue that 4th goal, that's a totally different game.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to say is that when we normally go down 2 goals, you kind of see the air get sucked out of the arena. See it get sucked out of the team.
Yeah.
The heads start to hang, and you're like, the body language just isn't there from the players. And I felt it 2-0 down that I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Like, there was almost this belief of, okay, we've still got 80 plus minutes of football.
Yeah. It's as shitty as it is to go down 2-0 in the first 10 minutes. It's probably best case scenario to go down 2-0. If you're going to go down 2-0 in a game, it's best to do it in the first 10 minutes of a game for sure. Because then you've got the whole, like you said, the whole 80 plus to get it back on track. So,
and we left it late. We left it late to get back, I feel.
Yeah, leaving it all 5 minutes before half time until you score the first goal back when you're 2 down. It's again.
Well, what are the timestamps of the goals here? So we have Brian White in the 37th minute.
Yeah.
To bring us back 1. And then the second Puskas wonder goal, whatever we want to call it, it's going to be goal of the season for the MLS.
Yeah, it's got to be right. Well, you know what, man? This might be a bit of a controversial opinion, but I feel like the MLS are so far up Messi's ass that they're probably going to give it to him at the end of the season anyway.
Yeah, just some outside the box free kick he's taken.
Yeah, it don't matter what it is. Like, he could have rolled over the line and just fell into the ball.
Well, that's also their poster boy, right?
That's what I mean.
That's the poster boy.
Yeah.
But I think as a collective of Whitecaps fans and maybe people that aren't up Messi's ass, that is the goal of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
That is 100% the goal of the season. So we go into halftime only down 1. 54th minute, we equalize with the Puskas goal. We'll just call it now. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm fine to totally call that over.
Anytime referring to it going forward.
Yeah, that's...
I agree.
And then 61st minute, he scores his hat-trick goal.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Fafa leaves it till the 90th minute to pursue that 4th. But it also felt like the Whitecaps didn't let up as a team. And I think you kind of alluded to that we did go out and pursue it.
Yeah, which was nice. I guess my question is, after that game then, is Brian White back? Is this the re-emergence of our golden boot contender from last year? Is this him coming back, basically grabbing the bull by the horns and saying, you know what? we're going to do this and is going to drag that team over the line going forward? Or is it just a fluke hat trick?
No, I agree. He's back.
Yeah,
He's
good.
back. Like you said, confidence is goals.
Yeah.
And that is the best case scenario for him to get this confidence back.
And what a way to do it as well. That back, honestly, the backheel goal, even just scoring a goal like that, that must work wonders for your mind, thinking, I can do anything. Anything
You
I
just
do is
kind
going to
of,
go in.
yeah, you're like, I am him. Like, let's fucking go. Like I don't like the level of excitement I would have had if something like that happened to me is so much more muted than the reaction. Like he was so much more muted than the reaction I would have given.
I think I'd have been topless, bottomless, running around the pitch, just
Red
doing
cards
anthems. Yeah.
flying. like
Chasing me with my claws. Get these back on.
kind of like I mean, like as much as you do hate him, the Jude Bellingham when he equalized, yelling, "Who else? Who else?" That would have been me. But I do think his confidence is back. I think he needed a game like this to get it going. Even scoring one goal, yeah, I would say maybe this is enough to kind of get him going in the right direction. The Puskas goal, I'm like, okay, he's back. And then I do believe that third goal was him being like kind of putting his flag in the field and being like, I am him again.
Yeah. Also, I just
Like
want to touch on one thing that you said there because I don't hate Jude Bellingham. I really don't.
I saw the rage. I saw the rage.
No. I genuinely think he's a good footballer. I don't think he's this world class world beater that everybody else does. I think if you look at him for the first 3 games of the Euros, like yeah, he scored 2 goals. So what? He's been shit. You look at it, he has been shit. There is no ifs and buts. Him, Harry Kane, Bayako Saka, just crap. Phil Foden being played out of position, useless. Sorry, I don't want to get too into it.
See,
I can,
sometimes
but I'm not going to.
I love to
But
say these things to just see the rage build in you. And as soon as I said, oh, he was like Jude Bellingham running towards England fans, being like, who else? I was like, that's it.
triggered.
I'm
Yeah.
going to watch his face get red and the smoke come out of his ears.
No. Good player is a very, very good player. But even after that game, all the English press, use one word to describe Jude Bellingham's performance. Shit. Good, yeah, he scored overhead, but shit. He did nothing for 90 minutes, got tackled every time he had the ball at his feet. Like, it was
And I
useless.
think, and this kind of like ties into this point of what you just said is like, is he back? Because if he had scored one goal, and I'm talking about Brian White here, not Jude Bellingham.
I'm to White, yeah. Thank you.
If Brian White had scored his first goal, and we would have sat here and been like, "Oh my gosh, his goalless drought is done," but we lose the game 2-1. Right? This is a totally different conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying, actually, yeah.
If he scores that goal and me and you are sat there in the stands being like, he's back, like that's it, confidence is back, but we drop the game, I think it's just more of the fact that he's back because he not only scored 3 goals, like he was outstanding on the night.
Yeah, even positionally, good. Yeah.
His just where he was on the field, dragging defenders out of position, creating space. I do think he is back. But we still got a ways to go.
Yeah, I do think between him and Gold up top, we have probably the most defensive attackers in the league. Like, I honestly feel that they do more for the team than any other attackers in the league, getting back, breaking players up. Like, if you look at Gold's heat map after a game, it's often that he's like in our box.
Yeah.
Like, quite a lot of the game, breaking things up, getting involved. Like, he is all over the pitch. Like, and White is the same. White will come back. He does all the tracking. I really, really like Brian White. I think he's a...
So just where you put it there, just how you put it there of Gald, I think now this kind of segues into the news that came out this morning that he has been selected for the MLS All-Star team. And I've
That is
got some
huge.
stats here. I just want to throw some stats at you, and these are obviously these are on the Whitecaps and his personal Instagram page.
Okay.
So this season, 9 goals and 4 assists. He's
It's not a bad return.
53rd, or he has 53 key passes, which is 6th in the MLS. 2.25 tackles per 90 minutes, which is 93rd percentile in the MLS versus other attacking midfielders. That is a very wordy stat.
Midfielder. That's incredible.
That is a very wordy stat and very specific. 24th in the MLS with tackles with 42. His expected goal is 7.1, which is 16th in the MLS. 6 goals and 2 assists, which is the 3rd most goal contributions in the MLS since match day 15. He's got 50th chances created, which is tied for 6th in the MLS. And his expected assists, which is 5.1, is tied for 9th in the MLS. And I think, great, you've thrown all those stats at me, Matt. Like, those are very wordy stats. And I think the biggest one is this one right here, which is he's the only Vancouver Whitecaps player to appear in every match across all competitions. That right there describes Ryan Gauld as a player, as a person, as an ambassador to our club.
Like, I honestly feel like the way he is for this club, that he would die on that pitch if he had to. He reminds me of like almost the same commitment to the club as like I see, let's say, Bruno Fernandes with United. Like, he doesn't miss games. He is always available. I think towards the end of last season there, he was playing during the playoffs in the last like 3 or 4 games of the season with some sort of protrusion on his left foot, I believe. And he's left-footed. This is why towards the end of last season, he stopped taking corners. And
because he couldn't swing it into the left.
Yeah, so like then he'd still take free kicks and things that are like a little bit more important, like goal for goal. But the fact that he was still making himself available and putting in the effort and doing all the running is, he is honestly, if we had not even of his quality, like if we had 11 more players with his enthusiasm and work rate on the pitch, you'd win every game. Like, it's unbelievable.
And I'm just going to throw another stat here too. So he was subbed off in the 84th minute, and I know this is coming, so I'm just going to give the shout out here to Sean. He was watching the broadcast, and he texted me that Ryan Gauld had played 90 minutes in his last 10 matches, and this was the first time he was subbed off in 10 games.
That's crazy, isn't it?
And I think that goes to show exactly what you just said, that he's willing to put it all on the line on the pitch there.
Yeah, and I want to say that in that run of 10 games that he's played all the way through, sort of thing, he, like, that hasn't been just Saturday games. That has been Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is a lot of games to play. I don't think anybody else on the teams has done that. Like, that is phenomenal. Like,
and these are close games. These aren't, Whitecaps 3-0 wins. These are games where it finishes 1-1, 2-1, depending on whoever is winning the game. But these are very, very close games where effort is required across all 90 minutes. Whether we got that from certain players, but I would feel comfortable saying that across those 90 minutes, every ounce of energy that Ryan Gauld has put into the pitch has been completely above what we needed.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
And I definitely do feel that this is long overdue, his inclusion to the MLS All-Star game.
Yeah, it is.
this is very long overdue, and I think it's a scary inclusion on the team, because I think me and you have always said that, like, what's going to happen if a big club sees what he can do.
Yeah.
But I think his loyalty to the club is very clear. And I think he believes in what we're doing. So I think this is well deserved.
Yeah.
Now I think we can make a case again for an MVP. Because, like you said, all of these stats are really great, but at the end of the day, he's an attacking midfielder. He's not a striker. He's not a center forward. He's not a winger.
Yeah.
This man is an attacking midfielder. And he's just been incredible.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. So, I guess, Matt, with Gold going up to the MLS All-Star there as well, and, well, obviously the league closes, right? I'm a little bit unfamiliar still with how the MLS thing works. Does the league just stop for
Yeah,
2
it'll
weeks
stop.
before they do
So
that?
they'll take a break
Okay.
while the All-Star festivities kick off.
Oh, okay.
But I don't
Okay, so we're
think
not
it's
going to
that.
lose Gold for the 2 weeks or
No,
whatever then.
no.
Okay, that's crucial, really.
Yeah.
And then one thing that I did want to touch on with us just entering July today. Also, happy Canada Day. We've
Yeah.
not said it yet. There you go.
Happy Canada Day and happy transfer season now.
Yeah, so that opens on July 18th to August 14th. That is the
Yeah.
window. I guess my question is, what positions do you think would be crucial to add to?
I think crucial is going to be some sort of defensive midfielder that could see. This is tough because I don't know. It's more of like a hybrid. Like, you don't want an attacking midfielder. You don't want a defensive midfielder. I just want like a well-rounded midfielder.
Yeah.
Someone that could essentially link the ball from Cubas and start those plays through the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, and I mean, this is just two guys talking, but it is very easy to go down the left and right channels with our pace that we have.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I
pace
agree.
that our team has, these left and right channels, they're very easy to go through. I think we've seen it quite a lot over the years as Whitecaps fans, that our teams have loved to drive these left and right sides of the pitch, cross it in, and hope someone gets onto the end of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because we've always been like a little bit more of a pacey team. But I think we need somebody in the midfielder that's kind of more creative and is going to
Yeah.
be able to create the passes that Brian White can get on the end of. Maybe that's through balls or lobs or stuff like that, and allow Gall to kind of be a bit more free.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like to see. How or who is going to fit that description, I have no idea.
No, it's hard, right? Because obviously the club isn't of the same sort of wealth level as an LA or a Miami. Even like the Houston clubs, like, they've obviously got a lot of money down there. We don't have that sort of financial pull, I suppose. But man, look at the country here. Like, moving to Vancouver, it's a beautiful place. That should have some sort of pull for the players, you'd think. Like, even with Ryan Gold, I think he genuinely loves Vancouver, and his wife, from the interviews that I've seen, that they love Vancouver that much that it would take something astronomical for him to leave.
Yeah.
Like, this city has a lot to offer, and I think as much as, yeah, they might not be able to get the financial package, which might hold us back, like, if they could just come and see the city for 2 weeks, just bring them over, fly them over, Vanny, get them on a flight, show them around the city, I'm sure they'll sign the contract.
I think what it boils down to is how can a player market themselves in Vancouver? There's, I know that's tough to say. You've got, I'm just going to leave Inter Miami out of this just because if you're going there, it's to play with Messi, Puskas. But if you look at, now let's not look at the teams. Let's look at the markets. And when I mean markets, I'm going to say LA, New York. I think you could include Toronto right now.
Yeah, I think so. Actually,
I think Drake has done enough to put Toronto into the mouths of every American that they at least know that exists as a place. Even Seattle, they've got I hate to say this, but they have a winning tradition there.
Yeah, they've had some big players at Seattle as well over the years.
And I think, how can a player at the end of the day market themselves in that market? So coming to Vancouver is a little bit tougher. Also, we haven't had the on-field success as a lot of other clubs have, which that also kills me to say, because obviously we are supporters of the clubs, but I think when it comes to a topic like this, we do need to be realistic.
Yeah.
That players at the end of the day want to win trophies. Sure, we've won the Canadian Championship now twice on the bounce.
Yeah.
I think looking ahead to, I'd make a strong case that that's going to be 3 in a row.
But Toronto look good at the moment. Like, they're doing well. They're like climbing the table slowly. They've got Bernardeschi and is it Insigne up front?
Yeah, Herdman's managing.
Yeah, so they've not got like a terrible team there in Toronto, and they are. I don't know. I think it's going to be a bit more of a challenge this year to
Than in
retain
years
it.
past. Yeah,
for sure.
And so that being said, like if we eliminate the Canadian Championship as a trophy, I think we need to look at our other on-field success. We have not done historically well in the Champions League, which, fair. That, I mean, any sort of Champions League trophy is going to be the hardest to obtain.
Yeah.
Domestic-wise, within the MLS, we haven't pushed far in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. I think over the last like maybe 3 or 4 playoff entries that we've had, we've gone out with the first hurdle.
Yeah, we've got through a couple like playoffs. I remember beating San Jose, but we haven't really progressed through. And then also looking at the Leagues Cup last year, we went out to our kryptonite, which is the Tigres.
Man, yeah, I agree with that. They are like, it doesn't matter what we do against them, how good we play against them, they always find a way to win.
Number.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but they are a good side.
I think this is when. So this transfer window, we're really going to need to lean into our scouting and find talents that want to come to Vancouver to make a name for themselves on a stage versus someone that's proven that can come here and market themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened with Ryan Gauld, is that we scouted him and we, as an organization, felt that this was a player that didn't need to market himself but wanted to come here and prove his name and his worth. So I think going into the transfer window, we need to scout somebody like that.
Yeah.
And if
I did not, we talked about it.
Oh, the Brighton player. Yeah, I mean, rumors are always worth their weight in piss.
Yeah, so. Yeah, 'cause in fact, I've only actually seen the one or two like rumors about it
And
coming off the
there's
Twitter.
two really juicy rumors floating around the Whitecaps right now, which I've read, is that Fafa wants out. That's the rumor, and then the second one is Caicedo staying at the club he's been on loan at. Those are two rumors that are going around the club that I don't even feel they're worth talking about or entertaining, because we can sit here and talk about rumors for 6-7 hours,
Yeah,
and
I
until
did.
we get that here we go, it's worth nothing.
I did see a crazy one, and this one I thought was a bit of a like way out there sort of rumor. It was that Ryan Raposo was being looked at by a Chinese Super League club, Shanghai Xianyu, I think it is.
I think I saw that
Um,
too.
they were looking, and just rumors again, but they did like what I've read is that they are looking at expediting his Chinese
Like
Chinese
work visa.
citizenship, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
so he'll be able to play for the Chinese national team. But
Interesting.
again, just rumors for now.
It's
Like,
all
I've not,
rumors, right? And
yeah,
until we get that official statement from the Whitecaps being like XXXX is incoming, this person's leaving, we're kind of dealt the hand that we have right now. And we can sit here and make a laundry list of what we would like to see, but I think the midfield needs strengthening.
yeah, I agree with that. I think center, defensive midfield, center midfielder, somebody who can play that role there. Like you say, I think what you described there, like that person to link up the attack with defense after Kubas has like done his blocking, done his intercepting, broke up playing things. I think that's like essential to have somebody there because yeah, like I say, Vite and Berhalter, good squad players. I don't think they're the right players to play that role. I think we need
And
somebody a
we kind
little
of
bit more
saw
technically
it.
gifted.
We kind of saw it this weekend that Ryan Gauld is pulling back into the midfield to kind of pivot, and then
Yeah,
start that attack.
yeah. So I think that, and then I think the club needs to almost come to a conclusion of what to do with Adekube
Yeah,
because I think having him here, having paid £1 million for him or $1 million for him to get him from, I think it was what Galatasaray.
I think it was Besiktas,
Was it Besiktas? Either
one
one of
of
the
the
Turkish
Turkish
leagues.
clubs.
Yeah. I think after paying that money and then not actually having him starting or not even being able to play him at all, like whoever did the scouting there, like how come they didn't realize that he had this injury that was going to last for the full season? Apparently, like we
More.
need somebody who can. We need another winger. I think. I know. You said about yeah, we like to have it going down the sides, but I think even having a centre midfielder who can punch balls out, I think that might be essential. And with Ali Ahmed and Ryan Raposo sort of like fighting for that right hand side, I think it'd probably be worth looking for another left winger.
Yeah. And I was going to say, this would actually involve Vanny changing his entire tactics. Is that if we could go to a 4-3-3, and kind of have Cubas drop into like more of like a holding midfielder with the two midfielders paired on the side, kind of being a bit higher up and more central.
Yeah.
And then having two wingers with maybe having Gauld as like a 10, and then
Yeah.
having two striker wingers that are going to drive in. But I mean, Vanny's been very loyal to his tactics.
Yeah.
Have they always worked? No. Have they worked? Yes.
Yeah, that's
So
the
it's
thing,
going
right?
to
Like when
boil
it
down to
works, it's
that.
beautiful.
That's just it. And I know there is some fan clubs, Instagram clubs out there saying like, "Is this Vanny out? Is this Vanny out?"
I don't
But
think so, man.
I don't think so either. Um,
I love him, man. I love his
we've
enthusiasm. I love how he interacts with the players. I love how he interacts with the media. Honestly, one of my favorite lines from any manager in the world was after the. I know it come after a loss, but after the LA game in the playoffs when they asked him, "Oh, what do you think of the refereeing?" And he turns around to the camera and says, "Well, if I think it was Tim Ford, if Tim Ford's body is found in Falls Creek, look for me." And I was like, "Holy shit, man! You are the
That's
one.
what we need.
You are the chosen one."
Yeah, I stand behind Vanny. We could debate that for hours if any of these clubs want to come on here and talk about it. We'll extend the invitation with a red carpet. But yeah, and then I think like I think like if we're looking ahead here, how he needs to navigate this, and I know we kind of spoke on it earlier, is like, was he doing a more conservative lineup? So we play Minnesota on Wednesday, and then we have Montreal on Saturday. Those are both away games, so that's going to
Minnesota
involve.
are top of the league, are they? Or up there?
They've actually fallen off a little bit. So with a win, we would actually be able to leapfrog Minnesota.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize
So
that.
that's
Actually.
tempting.
Yeah. Well, even with the win there,
that's
31 points will go if we get the win, right?
Yeah.
So so even just off the win there, technically we could go to, if all results go in our favor, we could end up being sat in 5th after Wednesday.
And I'm just looking, this is a full match day too on the Wednesday, so this would require some help from teams.
Yeah.
But this is a very, as you could say, like tasty fixture.
Yeah.
That would be really helpful for our case as what our game in hand is actually going to work out to be. And then Montreal away, which Montreal right now are 10th in the East. So they're not really like a derby game, but like as like a all Canadian game, it's nice to. It's not nice. It is the best result to win those games. You don't want to drop points to other the two other Canadian teams in the league. And then after that, we are technically back in BC as we start leg 1 of the Canadian Championship. That's 2 legs. I imagine that we should get 3 points away. I'm going to say that before Sean comes at me. And then next thing you know, we're back playing St. Louis away.
Yeah.
So we've got, in the span of 13 days, we've got 3 MLS games and 1 Canadian Championship game.
Yeah, it's quite some running.
And none of those games are at BC Place. We are away for all of those games.
Yeah, so a bit of a road run, but it is what it is. Our form, like up until a few weeks ago, our form on the road was a very, very good. Like, if we can regenerate and get back to it, we should be okay. Like, even if we can get from 12 games, if we come away with 7 points in the league from these games, that'd be successful, I think. 7 points on the road.
I remember at the start of the season, you would lean over to me every game and be like, I think we're better away than we are at home.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the pressure of playing in front of your home fans, especially in the last couple of years here. Obviously, like the attendance at BC Place is going up and up and up. Like even on Saturday there, it was like 25,000 in.
Yeah, I actually thought it was not going to be as busy as it was, but official attendance was 24,000.
Yeah, see, like that's massive for the Whitecaps. I remember when we were going maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and the attendance would be about 15,000 tops. Like on a good game, you'd get maybe about 18. So to be like, just for an average game against St. Louis, being able to pull in 24,000, like I honestly think the sport itself is becoming quite a big thing up here. And maybe Messi has helped that a little bit, but I think
I think this is
help themselves
without sidetracking too much. Like it's the same with the NHL. When the Canucks are good, Rogers Arena is impossible to get into. When the Whitecaps are good, we get our fair weather fans out.
Yeah.
that want to see goals and they want to see wins and points. So maybe it is the pressure. Maybe it was this unknown of like, oh no, BC Place is going to be packed. Is there a pressure on us to win? The marketing team came out really early on and said this is the best start to the MLS we've ever had. Does that apply pressure to the players? I don't know. I'm not on the team.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with a microphone and we're talking about it. Like, I have no idea what goes through their heads. I'm only criticizing or appreciating their on-field performances, which that is can't speak to anything of what they're actually feeling.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, yeah.
But it's a tough run of games here. And then just looking ahead, so we are back home on July 17th against Kansas City. Kansas City are near the bottom of the table, so I guess closer to that game we can look at an actual prediction.
Yeah.
As wrong or right as that might be.
No, I get that, but I tell you what, Matt, seeing us, I guess this is coming to the end here. We're almost at the hour. Well, we're approaching the hour mark there as well. So for Wednesday, Minnesota United, not Minnesota, sorry. Wait, yeah, it is Minnesota United.
Yeah, Minnesota.
What's your prediction? What you going for?
I mean, every game you ask me, I'll back the Whitecaps. I think I'm going to sit here and always back the team. Realistically, I think if we could get a point, that would be fucking fantastic. A single point is fantastic to me. Overachieving is to pick up all 3 points. And that's just based off of the form we've shown recently. This isn't based off of, I don't know, some magic. Like, I'm just looking at our form and being like, a point would be absolutely perfect.
That's fair. But I will say I'm a little bit more optimistic, and I genuinely feel after Brian White clicking his heels into gear, quite literally with the ball there, and I honestly think Gold had a very good game. Like, I know he didn't get his assist or on the score sheet there. I think he had a good game still. I'm going to go, and my bet for the week as well, what I'm going to put on will be 3-1 to the Caps.
Really?
3-1 to the Caps, Brian White to score 2, and Gold to get 1.
So, that being said, okay, great. 3-1 Minnesota. I'm happy with a draw. I think points on the road are points on the road.
Yeah.
Now, we have a quick turnaround in Montreal. What game does Vanny put a little bit more emphasis on? Because he's going to sit there and say, okay, we just came off of, being down 2-0 in the 12th minute, everybody put an absolute shift in.
Yeah.
So is he going to sit there and say, fantastic work, guys, run it back on Wednesday? Or is he going to fix his lineup?
I think,
like, how many changes to his 11 do you see?
I honestly think Brown will step out of the squad and Blackman will come in.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe Labrada will get dropped and Veselinovic will come in, and you'll have a back 3 of Utvik, Veselinovic, and Blackman.
Mm-hmm.
Across the middle, hopefully Kubas is back. Hopefully, seeing as they're already out with the copper, hopefully Andy's suspended for the last game. Hopefully they allow him to be released back to the Whitecaps. If he's allowed to come back to the Whitecaps, he should be in full fitness. He should get thrust in on Wednesday back into the squad, I think. I think
so there's more of an emphasis. So for you, there's more of an emphasis on this Minnesota game than there is the Montreal game.
Yeah, I think Minnesota are a much better team than Montreal, and I think we should try and get our strongest squad out against Minnesota, and then if we're going to rest players and rotate the squad. Saying that, Kubas, I honestly feel like he should be raring to go. Like, he should be able to play the next 2 or 3 games back to back to back, I think. I know he's coming back off international duty, but I think it's a very different setup than when you're playing like club football. So I think he should be good.
He should be good. Yeah, and I guess that's like the next talk of the town rumor that we've seen is Kubas going to get released early? Paraguay have essentially been eliminated from the Copa.
Yeah.
I think we looked before this; they're sat on 0 points.
0 points, and I think first and second are on 6 and 4. So there's no chance that they can get in.
Yeah, so they're done. Cubas picks up a red, straight red, right, in the game. And so yeah, is he going to get released in time? I don't think there's any need for him to really hang around.
No.
He should just get back to club football. That's a very biased opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
That's a very biased opinion.
It's a selfish opinion from us, but
hey, we're selfish people. What do you want? We're selfish people. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't know about the result. I would love to at least pick up points. I'm over the moon if we pick up 3.
I think it's there. I think it's there for the taking. If we've got like a decent squad out and Kubas can come back into the middle there, I think it's there for the taking.
And also, we have to also take into account that we're rolling this momentum.
Yeah.
This is a big comeback win to go down to 2-0 and then essentially pick up 4 straight goals.
Yeah, I think so myself.
So the momentum is on the Cap squad. It's just, can they continue this momentum? Like I said, I believe they can, but I'm ecstatic with a point, or I'm content with a point. I'm ecstatic with 3.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I think exactly what you said is not the preference, but the expectation is 3.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah.
And then like looking forward for what we've got in store. So what do we got? We are another weekly podcast next week. I think we'll do the 2 games next week as one. There's no sense coming on midweek. We got it all here for you. Don't worry. And then we'll be back in BC Place in 17 days.
Yeah.
So we'll try it. Not we'll try. We'll be rerunning the fan TV. We'll take every lesson we've learned from last week, I guess, about not watching people walk by and being in my head being like, hey, I should interview them.
Honestly, for anybody watching that might be at the game or anything, we will be most likely the Turry Fox Plaza thinking again.
Yeah, we'll be in that area.
Yeah, so if you see us, it'll be hard not to see us. We'll be there with the big flashlight and the cameras and the microphone, throwing it in people's faces. So, like, by all means, come over, say hi. Like, we are there for it. We are there to introduce ourselves to you and, like, find out who the fans are.
We want to meet the people.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can touch on that a little bit closer too, because so what? We're 17 days away, so we come back on next week to talk about the Minnesota-Montreal game, and then we'll be back on the weekend after that. We can run through the Pacific FC St. Louis results, and we'll allude more to our fan TV. We'll keep you we'll just kind of sprinkle it in.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good.
And I think we'll wrap it up there, unless you want to touch on anything else.
No, I think that's good. Let's save it. I want to jump back into the whole salary cap, but we'll leave that for another episode because that's like quite a chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've got a laundry list of things that I think we'll try and save some stuff for off season.
Yeah.
I know the feedback I've gotten from people is that the salary cap we are going to go in on. We're going to go in on why are we not playing at a permanent stadium? Why do we not? Obviously, the Whitecaps don't own BC Place. We rent it each week. Is there room for a permanent stadium that the Whitecaps should be playing at? We've got a laundry list of topics that we'll kind of go over during the off season. Yeah. And like I said, this isn't the last you're going to hear from us.
Yeah.
We're here to stay. We're building up topics. We're learning. We're getting better. Maybe we're getting better. Maybe we're getting worse. I don't know.
Now we're getting better for sure.
That's a list of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it for this week. So we'll sign off here.
Okay, perfect. Have a good day, guys, and yeah, happy
All right.
Canada Day.
Till next time.
Till next time. See you later.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Caps Cast presented by Whitecaps Fan TV. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram listed below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.